Every time I failed, I felt like shit. I decided, okay, I'm going to tell the truth. I didn't want to do that many sales calls anymore. I can't stand my YouTube channel anymore. If you are not 100% convinced that it's going to change your customer's life, I know that it doesn't work with me. I have to be 100% confident.
Hello and welcome to the Art of Selling Online Courses. We're here to share winning strategies and secret hacks from top performers in the online course industry. My name's John Ainsworth and today's guest is Remy Lack. Now, Remy is a self-taught artist. He was a former engineer and then he quit after 15 years and he started his art business in 2021. He's now made over $600,000 and grown an extremely loyal audience. And we're going to talk today about the benefits of sharing who you are openly.
If you want to impress people, share your wins. But if you want to inspire people, share your vulnerability, share your failures.
Why Remy sometimes cries in his YouTube videos.
And I wasn't supposed to cry in this video. I didn't want to cry, but I actually did. And from that moment, what I realized is,
and how to build a connection with your audience.
I think it's a very healthy struggle, actually. Many people were very shocked by the price, just for a hobby. And it's fine. This is not really my audience. I think my biggest lever here is the connection with my audience. And it allows me to charge a premium price.
Remy, welcome to the show.
Hello, John. Yeah,
so
thank you.
Give us an idea of, like, I kind of mentioned it briefly, but like who specifically are you helping with your courses and what kind of problems you're solving for them?
Yes, it's a B2C market where I help people create watercolors that come truly from them, that are not a copy paste of tutorials that they can find on YouTube, and that are beautiful, that create a wow effect where people just tell them, wow, is it really you that did that?
Nice. Okay. And how do you do that? Like, what's different about your approach to the approach that others are taking then?
I stopped creating YouTube tutorials because this is what works on my market, the watercolor market. And I decided to take another approach where I make the link between watercolor and life instead. So it's
Good,
more
that
a
sounds very
spiritual
cool.
approach.
Okay. So this is something that you kind of noticed was working in your market, and so you stopped doing tutorials. So do you still do YouTube videos then, but they're not tutorials?
Yes, right. I still do YouTube videos, but I'm trying to have a more a meta approach where instead of creating tutorials after tutorials, I create something that I think has a much deeper impact on my audience.
So how do you do that? What kind of videos are you making now then?
For example, instead of telling them exactly what to do, I'm trying to take several watercolors that I did, and I'm trying to create a template or something, a methodology that I came up with, and then I share it on YouTube, and people love it because it makes them reconnect with their own creativity and they can think about their own topics, their own subjects, so that they can use the same template, the same methodology with their own picture, their own art.
Man, that's cool. That's very deep. Like, it's like why would you start doing watercolor painting in the first place? It's not so that you can exactly replicate what somebody else is doing, but that's kind of how you learn to do it, I imagine. Like, I've only done a little tiny bit of watercolor painting. My friend Quinn, I lived in Playa del Carmen in Mexico for a while. And my friend Quinn had this amazing, beautiful flat. And the reason she was able to get it was because during COVID, people weren't renting new places and she wanted to rent, and this place became available. And so she had this great place, massive, with a giant outdoor balcony, terrace and a swimming pool and all kinds of stuff. And every Friday, she would have watercolor and barbecue at hers in the evening. And so our mutual friend, Kat Coquelette, who is a great watercolor artist, would come and like teach us all watercolor painting. And like we'd all sit around and you choose something that you're going to draw, and then you'd sketch it out, and then you draw that, you'd paint it. And she'd kind of constantly be coming around and giving us little tips, but she'd also be doing her own painting at the same time. And her boyfriend Adam loved to cook, and he would spend all day preparing food, and then in the evening he would cook us barbecue. And it was just like, this is amazing. It was so much fun. So that's how much watercolor I've done. Is I just do it around when I was hanging out with Quinn. But like that's how I kind of imagine it. So I learn. I'm learning bass at the moment. I don't know if you can see it back here. Hold a minute. It's just in the background, like here.
Ah, no, I can't see it.
No. Okay.
Ah, yes, it's
Oh,
the big one.
on the
The big
sofa.
one.
Wait a minute. Here we go. We're going on a tour of my flat, everybody. If you're watching on YouTube, so this is my bass, which I adore.
Okay.
And I really like to play blues rock, which is a very specific niche genre. That's like the kind of thing I really love. And one of the things that I discovered about blues rock, which is awesome, is that a lot of it does not have to be played exactly the way that it was written. There's like, you have to hit the root note, and then you have to hit other notes in the minor pentatonic scale. And I'm like, oh, this is fun. So you can kind of fuck around a little bit and like do stuff that you want to do. And so this is just me trying to find kind of connections with what you're talking, my understanding of what you're talking about in terms of like people being able to do things their way. Okay, so let's go in a little bit into how you actually kind of are running the business. So what's your audience size on YouTube? Is YouTube your main traffic source?
It used to be, and I grew the channel up to 30,000 subscribers. But recently, I also started a Facebook page and an Instagram profile, and I realized that many people are discovering me as well on those platforms. They are very visual. There are lots of Facebook groups on watercolor on Facebook, so a lot of some part of my audience is hanging in those kind of platforms. So those platforms, Instagram and Facebook, are working quite well.
Nice. Okay, cool. So you had 30,000 subscribers on YouTube. How many views do you get a month on there?
It depends on with my YouTube shorts. I think it's something like several tens of thousands of views. And if I'm just looking at my long form videos, I think it's something like maybe it's 10,000. Maybe I can have a look. Just a second. Okay, just on the long form video in the past 28 days, it's 22,000 views.
Okay. And who does your typical audience member or customer tend to be? Is it like a male, female? What kind of age range? Are they total beginners? So what kind of who you appealing to?
It's mainly women, but there are some men. So, like 75% women, 25% men, and most of them are over 50 years old, and they are speaking French because my YouTube channel is in French.
Yeah. So is it people in France, or is it a lot of like, because where else do people speak French? Some African countries, Canada.
Yes, Switzerland, Canada. Yes, mainly those countries. Yes.
Okay, cool. Now, one thing that you'd said, and I mentioned in the intro, was that you feel that what's driven your success the most is your connection with your audience. Could you expand on that and kind of explain to us what you mean?
Yes, because I share quite openly on my YouTube channel. I consider my YouTube channel as a journaling tool, something like that.
Okay.
When something happens in my life, then I make the link with watercolor. And when something happens with watercolor, I can make the link with my life. And under those conditions, I am willing to share that on YouTube. And so sharing my personal experience, like I've been an employee for 15 years, and then I decided to switch to live my own life. It's like you are copying tutorials, watercolor tutorials for 15 years, and then you decide, okay, I want to create my own art now. So you can see some parallel between life and watercolor, and these are the kind of things that I share. And then people can discover who I really am when I share my life experience.
And do you feel like that leads then to business success as well?
Yes, I think so, because sometimes when I have the opportunity to talk with some students and ask them why me,
Yeah.
then they tell me that it's because who you are. I discovered your channel on YouTube, and compared to everybody else on the market, you stand out because I can relate to what you lived. I can relate with your experience. I can relate to many things that I went through in my life.
Interesting. Okay, so people kind of connect with you as a person, and then therefore you're the one they want to learn from. Do you think that's more than your methodologies and your systems and what you're teaching? Or do you think it's like the two of them are intertwined, you know?
Yes, it's intertwined, because when I teach my methodology, it's also that I talk about my own experience. But then it comes down to storytelling, because when, for example, I share a methodology to have vibrant colors in your watercolor, I share, okay, before I was painting like that and it was fine, but I always had the feeling that something was off in my paintings. And then one day, just by accident, I used this color much more than usually. And then everything changed. And from this moment, I created this, and this watercolor. And now I'm going to show you exactly how I did that. But it comes from my own experience. So my methodology is a mix of storytelling. It's also some structure, some step-by-step guidelines, and it's also very technical, actually. So different kinds of people can relate to the way I teach, because for people who are sensitive to storytelling, they are going to relate to that. For people who are just looking for techniques, they are going to relate to that as well. So I think there are many components in my teaching that people can relate to.
I was giving a presentation the other day at a conference, and one of the other speakers came up to me afterwards and said, "You're just so much yourself when you're on stage." And my initial thought was, well, who else would I be? But then I was like, and then I thought more about it, and I was like, oh no, I do get what she means, because it can be very difficult to be yourself when you're presenting. You know, like you're kind of trying to be presenter you, and like you don't want to be boring, you don't want to be disinterested, you want to be excited about it, but it's weird sometimes presenting to an audience or to a camera or what have you, and then it can be a bit stilted and the full version of you doesn't always come through. And I guess I kind of done enough presenting that I kind of got over that and was just like, ah, screw it, I'm just gonna, go up and be me. And luckily, natural me is quite excited about everything that I'm teaching. So it's quite easy to be excited about telling people about it. But
Yes.
that's really interesting how you've kind of did you always do that? Is that something you've consciously tried to do, like to share everything personally, sharing who you are so openly on your videos? Or is it something that you all just naturally did? Like how did that come about?
Yes, it was a lot of trial and errors, because and it comes down also to, yes, this video where I cried because I was fed up with my YouTube channel that I've been running for, at that moment it was like for 1 year and a half or 2 years. And at first I created what I thought people wanted,
Yeah.
meaning tutorials, techniques, and so on. And it went quite well. This is how I grew my YouTube channel, mainly up to 20,000 subscribers, something like that. But I was fed up with that because I didn't believe in what I taught. And in doing so, one day, I think it was last year, beginning of last year, I decided, okay, I'm going to tell the truth. I can't stand my YouTube channel anymore. And this is exactly the title of the YouTube video. I can't stand my YouTube channel anymore. And in this video, I shared that openly, that I was wearing a mask from the beginning, and I was trying to please people by being very step-by-step guidelines, with tutorials that people wanted. And I wanted to please people, and it wasn't me at all. And then I decided, okay, I'm going to share it openly. And in this moment, I said, I can't bear it anymore. And I cried. And I wasn't supposed to cry in this video.
Right.
I didn't want to cry, but I actually did. And from that moment, what I realized is that when I posted this video, it was people reacted so much more than my classic tutorial videos, first. And secondly, I had so many subscribers, email subscribers. Normally, I get like between 3 and 5 leads per day with my YouTube channel, and this was like more than 10 per day. So it's double or triple the lead flow. And also at that moment, I had a funnel, like a call booking funnel, and I had so many calls booked
Oh.
just after this video.
Huh.
Yes. And also, the sales calls, if we can call them like that, it was effortless because people, they related to this video so much that they decided, okay, he's not the marketing guy with a strong selling mood. He's a guy just like me, and he's trying to make a living out of something just like me. He struggled just like me, and I want to learn from him. And this is when I realized, okay, if you are just yourself, I think it can work.
That's really interesting. Okay, and so was that like the turning point? And after that, all videos you were more yourself, or was it still something you had to kind of work on after that?
Yeah, still I had to work because this was a turning point when I realized that I didn't need to have loads and loads of views. Before, I used to have more than 10,000 views on my videos. Now I have between 1 and 3,000 views. And it's fine because people who are watching me are really connected to who I am now. So this was a turning point on my YouTube channel. So it didn't grow as much as before, but I know for sure that the audience who is subscribing to my YouTube channel currently is a very qualified audience. And then I tried to replicate that, but I didn't see myself cry in every single video.
You're like, how am I going to make myself
So
cry this time? How am I going
yeah,
to
please cry now.
cutting
But
onions and like squeezing your skin
yeah,
and thinking about mean things?
but then this is when I think it comes down to watercolor as well. When you find a new technique, you tend to hammer this technique, to just use this technique 100% of the time. But actually what happens is you have to think about, okay, what does this techniques brings actually? You have to appropriate this technique before using it consciously. And sometimes it's a happy accident, just like this video. But then when you try another video and it doesn't work as well, and another one, it doesn't work as well, and then you come back to tutorials sometimes and it works fine, but not as fine as before, then you realize that, okay, it's not just one thing. It's not binary. It's a very nuanced thinking, and sometimes it's an authentic video that people are looking for, and sometimes it's just, okay, this is my methodology for you to create stunning watercolors. So now it's more balanced, I guess, after this turning point. Now I have more a mixed kind of way of doing my YouTube videos. it's more structured, but there is also room and space for me to just talk about something that happened yesterday with my girlfriend or with my parents or with anything that come to mind. So it's a mix of before very structured, but zero spontaneity. And now it's more 50% structure, 50% authenticity.
That makes sense. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about your actual courses. So what are your how do your courses work? You've got coaching included with them as well, often, don't you?
Yes, right. Before, when I started, I used to make only online courses.
Okay.
With some sales page, email campaign, and that's pretty much it. And I didn't want to have any contact with my students because I didn't feel at ease with that. And I'd rather create in my own studio and then share publicly what works.
Yeah.
And I think that, yes, then I realized that I didn't want to do online courses anymore because it was too much pressure. Every time I failed, I felt like shit. So then I decided, okay, let's try a coaching program where I will paint live with my students. And it works really well because I realized that people were fine with me failing live. And then they told me, and yes, it was just yesterday, they told me after one live, they told me, you know what? The best moment when I learned so much is when you fail in watercolor. When something is not happening the way I want. And then I explain them during the live, oh, okay, it's not working like I want, but you know what? It's fine. It's not a big deal. And here is how I'm going to correct. Here is how I'm going to change my mind. And then when they realize that, they tell me, wow, it changed so much compared to all the online courses that I can find on the internet, because the online courses only show you the polished version, only show you the best version.
Yeah.
It doesn't show you the real life, what happens in your painting studio when you are stuck, when you don't know how you are going to pursue your painting. And when you fail just like us, and when you come out with a solution, this is when I learn so much more than everything else that I can find that is perfectly crafted for the social networks.
One of the things that I have always found difficult and like less helpful about when people give training is that everybody shares, or nearly everybody shares in their training, this is the perfect version. This is how to do it perfectly. And like the ideal, like ideally you should do it like this. And I really like to see like someone actually doing the thing, or like the real life example. Because when you see the real one, you go like, oh, okay. Well, hypothetically, you would have ideally done it like this at this 10 out of 10 level. But actually, your one was only like a 7 out of 10 against that standard. And that worked perfectly well. So I can do that. I can kind of relate to that more. And so it kind of is like similar to what you're saying, I think, about them seeing you making mistakes and then going back. And it makes it more like, oh, okay. If Remy can make mistakes and then fix it and then still make this great, beautiful art, then maybe when I make a mistake, it's not the end of the world and I can manage to do something good as well, you know? So it's like quite inspiring. I think you said that actually, something like that in when you shared some stuff with me before. What did you tell me?
Yes, if you want to impress people, share your wins. But if you want to inspire people, share your vulnerability, share your failures.
Is that how you learnt that, through the story you just told about doing the coaching with people?
Yes, I also learned through this turning point on my YouTube channel as well. And when I share to my students openly, okay, you know what, I'm not satisfied with this painting, and I'm quite ashamed actually. And this is when people tell me, but no, this part is very good, but you know what, it's very good that you can say that to me, because I can relate to that, and it's not the end of the world, just like you said. So then I realized, okay, if I share also when I fail, it inspires people more. But maybe I'm not the hero, I'm not the best artist in the world, but I don't want to be that guy. I want to be a guy that is in an ongoing process of learning through watercolor, through life. And if I can help my student have the same mindset, then this is where I think my mission is fulfilled.
I was chatting with Jack Kowalski the other day, who has been on the podcast before. He teaches banjo. And one of the things that he was kind of stuck with earlier on, hey, Jack, if you're listening, he's coming around for dinner tonight, actually, as well. But Jack said one of the things that he kind of got stuck with earlier on was that he's like, but I'm not the best banjo player in the world. He's good. He's really good, right? He's played on studio produced albums for other artists, for bands and what have you. But he was like, but is that, do I have the right to be teaching this, like, when I'm not like the absolute best person at that? But it's like, you definitely know more than the people you're teaching, for one, and two, it's like, I think it's like you're saying, it's helpful for people to see someone who isn't like so good that they can't even relate to it anymore. It's like someone who is way ahead of them but is still learning and still improving and still figuring things out themselves as well. So that's fascinating, man. And how does that work, like, from a business point of view? How much does your coaching cost people?
So this is my high ticket program. It's 5,000 for 6 months coaching program. And I meet them twice every week. So it's a group coaching program where I can share how I paint things, and I can also give feedback to people when they paint. I can see them and I can then comment on how they paint in order for them to improve.
Nice. It's 5,000 for 6 months. Interesting. And is that a price point where people are like totally happy with that? Are some people like, oh my God, that's far too much for me to pay for learning watercolor? Like, do you tell people the price in advance? How's that kind of work?
No, I didn't tell the price in advance, and sometimes, yes, some people are very surprised because for them it's just a hobby. But this is not really my audience, because I'm looking for people who can really relate to my story as well. So this is why at the beginning of this podcast, I said that I think my biggest lever here is the connection with my audience. And it allows me to charge a premium price in order to have very limited number of people, and then having a great experience with them. It's a technical, but it's also creative, and mainly it's a human connection.
So how do you promote those? How do you get people onto those calls? Do people just go and book that? Are you promoting the calls directly through email? Do you run webinars and then promote them? Like, what's the system for getting people to jump on calls about that?
It changed a lot.
Okay.
So it was a lot of trial and errors. But at first it was just, I'm launching that, just book a call if you want to know more. This is a promise, and this is how I'm going to do that. It's a coaching program, so if you are motivated, just book a call. So this was the first iteration. And then what happened, I run this funnel for something like 1.5 years. And at the beginning of this year, I decided that I didn't want to do that many sales calls anymore. I wanted to work on my marketing more and on my coaching, on my delivery. And in doing so, I decided, okay, I'm going to run low ticket offers that are going to be workshops and that are going to be snippets of my coaching program, one live with me. And if people love that, then just book a call. So it's basically some people that have already paid for something that have the opportunity to book a call with me. So by doing so, I divided the number of calls by, I can't remember, but by a lot. And I can recall that I make between 5 and 10 5 and 15 calls per month at the beginning of this year. So it was digestible for me. And the closing rate was higher as well. So it was fine for me. And now I'm thinking about, okay, I have this low ticket offer. Let's have a mid ticket offer, because many people were very shocked. And yes, I think it's the word, shocked by the price. Just for a hobby. I've already thought about teaching people to sell their art, because in the marketing world, you hear you have to have a financial ROI offer so that you can charge a lot and so on. But I didn't want to do that. But I know that some people are very shocked when they hear the price, and it's fine. But to those people, I don't offer anything. And that's why I'm currently crafting an offer that is kind of a mid-ticket offer. It's not a low ticket, it's not a high ticket, but a mid-ticket. And it allows people to have access to me, but only once per week. And we can create something together. So I'm currently thinking about that.
Interesting. Okay, so take us through it again. So the way you changed, it used to be you just email people and say, if you want to book a call, book the call. And then you changed it to be that you sold the low ticket offer. And then at the end of that workshop, you promoted booking a call, was it? So how did it work again?
Yes, it's something like that. So YouTube channel or social networks. So it's 100% organic. Opt-in page where there is no lead magnet, just the promise. If you want to create beautiful watercolor your own way, enter your email, you are going to have a free video, then a VSL, 13 minutes of VSL, and then you can book a call. So I created lots of filter. The button to book a call cannot appear before a certain amount of time. And then I also added a part at the end of the video. It's not cheap. It's not an online course. So please book a call if you are really willing to improve in watercolor. So that kind of stuff, it reduces the workload and the number of sales calls for me. But then I just wanted to try, okay, just a little offer. In my email promotion, I make an email, an invitation to a live with me, and that's pretty much it. A live with me, and we are going to paint this watercolor. And then if people love that, they know my vibe, they know how I teach, and they know if it does resonate with them. And if it does, I offer the opportunity to book a call with me. And then they book a call, and then we have a talk.
I talk to a lot of people who are only selling online courses, and I talk to them about the idea that they could be selling a much, 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 much more expensive offering of some kind of coaching like you are doing. And I tell them about a few different people. I tell them about Scott from Scott's Bass Lessons, which is, I'll just find the episode number. It's episode 117 from January the 4th, 2024 with Scott Devine. And I talked to them about Christopher Sutton. So Scott runs Scott's Bass Lessons. Christopher Sutton, I talked to him. I don't think he mentioned his high ticket program in this episode, but I had an episode with him June 28th, 2021, episode 14. And both of them are teaching people music. So Christopher's teaching musicality and Scott is teaching bass. And they are mostly teaching this to people who are learning as a hobby, not as a profession, I believe. And they are both selling coaching programs for thousands and thousands of dollars, similar to yours, more expensive, I think, than yours. And nearly everybody who I tell this to, if they're selling courses for like $200 or $300 to their audience, is like, they look at me like I'm crazy. Like, that couldn't possibly work. My audience would never spend all of this. And yet there's all these people, there's you and there's Christopher and there's Scott, all doing this same approach. Can you tell people about like the pros and the cons of running a high ticket offer versus just selling low ticket courses?
Yeah. The high ticket offer, for me, people need to have access to me. So you have a schedule, and I have to go live with my with my students every week. So it can be a constraint for some people. So it really depends on you, whether you're more a marketing guy and you want to craft copyrighted sales pages and so on. Maybe the online course is a good fit. If you want to have bigger impact with your audience, with your students, and then see them improve and have a connection with them. For example, I was in vacation like 1 week ago, and I had a dinner with one of my students who was in the south of France. But I wouldn't do that with students from in my online courses.
Yeah.
I only do that with people in my high ticket. So if you want to have a deeper connection, then I think it's a good way to go, the high ticket thing. But with a high ticket, you also have to do sales calls. And at least this is what I thought until now. But for me, the closing rate is much higher if you do sales calls. So it really depends. And also, I would say that I do both, actually.
Mm.
I
The low
sell
ticket and high ticket.
Yes, whenever I feel it. Sometimes I don't want to I don't want to sell the high ticket program. So I just come because I want to sell something that is more affordable, much cheaper, and that solve a very specific issue. And then I just sell it through email, and I love writing this sales copy at this time. And then I'm bored with that. And in that way, I start reaching out with some people, with my students, and you can feel it in my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel evolves the way I evolve as well. So sometimes I just want to promote an online course. Sometimes I just want to promote a workshop, one live workshop with me. Sometimes I want to promote a whole program. It really depends. And I also learn to listen to myself, because I know that if I'm not in the right energy, if I'm not 500% convinced that this is a real deal, whether it be an online course, 3 months cohort, a 6-month coaching program, if you are not 100% convinced that it's going to change your customer's life, I know that it doesn't work with me. I have to be 100% confident. So in doing so, I know that the online space is promoting one offer, one avatar, and this stuff. I know that if I listen truly to myself, I want to create so many things. In the end, I'm an artist as well as an entrepreneur. So just listen to yourself. Just create whatever you want. And if you are in the right energy, it will change people's life. Whether it be just a 1 hour online course, I don't care, because I know that I'm going to have the right tonality. I'm going to have the right words. I'm going to have the right energy.
What's a typical conversion rate for you for the sales calls that you've done now that you've got like a lower number of them with a higher conversion rate? Because I feel like that's an important thing that people will be interested in to decide whether to do this or not.
Yes, before, when the call booking was free, I used to have between, I think, 20 and 40, maybe 20 and 35% of conversion rate. And since I created the low ticket to the high ticket thing, my conversion rate is around 50%.
Okay.
So it's really good because I spend less time and it's more efficient.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. If you are listening to this and you're like, oh, well, how would that work? How would I figure out my coaching program? I'm interested in doing this, but I'm not quite sure about it. Then drop me an email and I'll send you through some resources about it. I'll put together a few things. I haven't got a landing page for it or a lead magnet set up or anything. But if you just email me, john@datadrivenmarketing.co, and you tell me what size your email list is, what price your courses are normally, what your website is, and whether you've done any of this kind of high ticket coaching before, then I'll message you back and I'll send you through a few resources about it. So just drop me an email, john@datadrivenmarketing.co. So I think that what I've seen is that adding a high ticket offer can between some people it like adds 20%, 30% revenue to their business. Some people, and this is particularly in the business space, it's going to mean that your business is about 5 or 10 times bigger. So like for some markets, there's a real demand for the high ticket coaching and people will pay a lot more for it. And in some niches, it's like people really want it, but it's like an add-on. The courses is still the main offering. What do you think it is for you? Like what percentage of your revenue now comes from the high ticket stuff versus the low ticket stuff?
I think now it's something like 50-50
Okay.
because this is where I want to go. And it's the same thing here. My revenue reflects who I am. So before it was 100% the high ticket, and now sometimes I just sell a workshop or online course. So now
Yeah.
it's more 50-50, and I'm quite fine with it because I don't want to spend time in sales calls anymore, or very little time.
Yeah.
And if I can, I'm thinking about automating as much as possible some low ticket offer funnel. And then for the high ticket, just reach out to people that are already in my ecosystem, something like that. So yes, currently it's 50-50 and I'm quite happy with that.
Nice. What's any challenges that you've got at the moment? What's anything that's difficult for you at the moment with your email marketing and your funnels?
It's finding the time to do everything between the marketing, the painting, and also the selling, the funnel. What kind of offer do I want to craft? And it's always a balance to find between, oh, I need to sell something, but at the same time, what do I want to sell? So I'm trying to transform everything that I don't want to do into, okay, so in what form would you like to do it? So this is a challenge. I find myself sometimes struggling between, okay, what should I sell? What should I talk about on my YouTube video? What kind of lead magnet should I promote? Because I have so many things going on. And at the same time, I also want to automate things. So I need to find time in order to learn automation, to learn AI as well.
Mhm.
So these are the kind of thing that I'm struggling with, but I think it's a very healthy struggle, actually.
Good. Good. Okay. I like that. If you have been listening to this and you would like to know a little bit more about how to run your email promotions, then I've got a free download for you because we've talked a lot about the philosophy that Remy's got here and the kind of approach he's taken, but we haven't talked as much about the tactical details. If you want to download our guide about email promotions, then you can get that at datadrivenmarketing.co/emails. And like I said, if you want to know more about like selling high ticket stuff, then drop me an email. I'll send you through a few resources. I'll send you through like a funnel map of the funnel that we recommend, the structure. There's something called the 100. If you haven't read it, there's a book called $100 Million Offer from Alex Hormozy. And I've created a workbook that goes alongside that helps you design your $100 million offer that allows you to sell more through your sales calls as well. So I'll send you through that as well. Remy, this has been awesome. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your journey and your experience with everybody. Is there anywhere that people should go to check you out, or is it just like, no, it's all in French, it's not going to work for you, don't worry about
Yeah,
it?
it's all in French, and it's fine if you found something that was useful for your own business, then I'm very happy with that. And also I would like to add something to what you just said.
Uh-huh.
Um, if you listen to me, sometimes people say, "Oh, it feels like you make things effortlessly, very naturally, and when something come out, you just do it." But actually, it doesn't work like that. Actually, I'm struggling with a lot of stuff. And before I succeeded in doing things effortlessly, I used to follow very structured templates, just like you said, a very structured email promotion, this email, okay, the cost of inaction, and how you the future pace in just after the workshop, what you are going to get, how you can transform any feature into benefits. So I've been working a lot around that. And now I think it's just like watercolor, and it's just like I have two daughters, and the little one is learning how to write. And when you write, you have to learn the techniques first. You have to learn the structure, how you create an A, how you create a B before crafting a novel, before writing a book. So you have to learn the technique first, just like you mentioned, John. And then after a point, you realize, okay, this I don't like, this I like. And then as time goes by, you use less and less techniques consciously because you use it more unconsciously. And then you let some space and some room for authenticity, for some spontaneity. And it's exactly the same in watercolor. It's exactly the same. You learn the technique first, and then you let the technique flow into you, and to a point where you can let yourself speak through watercolor.
Wow. That's deep, man. I'm going to go lie in a hammock and try and contemplate that. All right. Thank you so much, Remy, for coming on. Really, really appreciate your time. Thank you, as always, for listening. Love you guys. I get lots of emails from people who listen to the podcast. If you want to drop me an email, tell me about your business and what you're working on, then please do. John@datadrivenmarketing.co. I always love that. And we will see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Bye bye.